Let's talk about El Nino. It looks like this year is going to shape up to be an exceptionally strong El Nino year, which means that the globe is warming up much more than is usually the case. And it looks like 2026 is going to be one of those years whereby we're going to see extensive droughts in Asia, including India, but also Southeast Asia. And it's going to have an impact on commodity prices and also negative impact on the buyers of those commodities. Let's jump into the presentation. I write for a publication called Asian Century Stocks, which focuses on value stocks. So what is an El Nino? Well, it's a weather pattern that disrupts the normal flow of winds in the Pacific Ocean. And these so-called trade winds, typically they move from South America to Asia, and they move warm water across the Pacific Oceans to Asia, causing rainfall in Asia and drier climate in South America. However, during El Nino years, these normal winds are disrupted, causing more of the warm water to stay in the Pacific Ocean and eventually heat it up, causing a lot of rain and a lot of water to form clouds above the Pacific Ocean. And you then heat up the entire globe. Plus, you're going to see much less rain in Asia and India and parts of Africa. And you're going to see more rain in South America and southern parts of the United States. So this is the broad impact. And for us, of course, what matters is the fact that you're going to see droughts in Asia, which I think is going to have a very bullish impact on commodity prices. You can see here a seasonably warm part of the year for an Indonesian rice plantation, or for rice plantation, and I think that's it will inevitably reduce yields. You can see here the temperature this year is shaping up to be exceptionally warm. In March we saw a seasonally adjusted record all-time high in sea surface temperatures. Specifically also the key El Nino 3.4 region in the Pacific Ocean, which many meteorologists use to measure these changes in these El Nino patterns. So 61% of NOAA experts predict an El Nino by July 2026, and the typical El Nino, it kind of peaks towards October, December each year. And so we won't know for sure. You can only forecast for so many months ahead. But 50% of the European researchers expect a super El Nino by October 2026. And that's highly problematic. It sounds like we're going to have a year like 1997 when the temperatures increased exceptionally. There's talk about potentially up to 3% higher temperatures, but of course it's a confidence interval, so you're going to have to take the average there. But for sure, very, very warm weather. So let's talk about the implications then. First, you're going to have Indonesian plantations are going to be at risk, and I'm thinking about oil palm plantations. And the reason why is that Indonesia tends to be heavily affected by droughts during El Nino years. So yields are going to come down, perhaps not in 2026, but perhaps in 2027. So perhaps, typically what happens is you see crude palm oil prices go up initially, and then yields drop subsequently. And so the net effect should be probably negative for Indonesian plantations, but Malaysian plantations could benefit if they aren't as much affected yield-wise. And we also see exceptionally high demand, I think, this year due to a change in the biofuel mandate this summer, which is going to increase demand in Indonesia. So this is shaping up to be a very good year for crude palm oil prices, but negative, of course, for the buyers of those. These are key commodity futures, including CPO, sugar, wheat, and cocoa. And they haven't, in my mind, really priced in the potential negative impact of, or positive impact from the price point of view, of an El Nino in 2026. I think the impact is going to be negative for consumer goods companies, or consumer packaged goods companies, and specifically the food producers like Indofood and maybe Tingyi in China, which are instant noodle producers. Also, cocoa has come down significantly, and there's some bullishness due to, of course, the greater supply that we're seeing toward 2027. But I think perhaps this decline is a bit, too far, too fast. And if we do see cocoa prices come up again, it's going to have a negative impact on margins for companies like Delphi in Singapore. Another impact will be lower hydroelectric output, and that should be beneficial for coal-fired power plants. And if we do see, higher demand for coal, there should also be a positive impact on coal prices locally in Indonesia. And coal miners are pretty inexpensive, as you can see here, in terms of the PE ratios. They're quite hated, due to Prabowo's land seizures that have been going on over the past year. Finally, I think air conditioner makers should benefit. So the big one, of course, is Midea. They're big in China, but also overseas. Daikin has a huge now operation, fast growing in India, where I think they're number 1 or number 2. And then you have Concepcion in the Philippines, which runs Carrier's local business. And what typically happens during very warm summers, you see residential or retail demand for air conditioners really spike, as we saw in 2024. Also, a lot of these stocks are really inexpensive on a PE ratio. So it's going to be an interesting setup for this summer. Thank you so much for listening. If you want more information, visit asiancentrystocks.com. I write about value stocks every single week, so you can find me there, and I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.